There's a lot of sheep heading offshore.
Yes, 45,000 lambs that are coming to Mexico with us. We're planning to load these next week and hopefully be in Mexico around the 25th of June.
Your record for shifting sheep, Javier, is actually very good.
Yes, indeed. We had a shipment 70 years ago of similar quantity, 35,000 join ewes, and for that shipment we had a loss of 0.1 of 1%, very minimal, and that is a reflection of good health and good preparation of livestock.
I don't think many farmers could actually boast that sort of level.
Indeed. I think most livestock exporters wouldn't be able to boast that level of very low losses. And again, a combination of good preparation, good feed, good health, and good work between the two governments involved.
So it must be some very serious protocols from both countries.
Yes, to get this done, we have to comply with the Mexico-New Zealand agreed protocol. It's a protocol agreed between the two governments, and this implies not only certifications of New Zealand's health status, but also it implies blood testing of the ewes to make sure that they're free of certain diseases. So yes, a lot of work is done behind the scenes to make sure that we comply.
And animal welfare is paramount?
Animal welfare is paramount, and it's paramount for both countries, not only for New Zealand but also for Mexico. Government of Mexico as well as the government of New Zealand are very keen that these animals are treated in the best possible way. And from our point of view, from our company's point of view, we know that treating animals well is good business. So we're all on the same page in terms of animal welfare.
Tell me about the feed.
Well, in every case, feed is produced to standards, so we have to comply with regulations on what the feed has to have as in terms of minimum protein, minimum energy. All of that is calculated so that the animals have enough nutrition for the voyage, but also enough fibre. Very important that the feed, the pellets that we use, have sufficient fibre in them so that the rumen of the animals continues to work efficiently during the voyage.
And they're weaned onto that before they get on board?
Yes, well, we're standing here at the export preparation property. The animals come in here and are received on baleage. And then slowly introduced to pellets, so that by the time they get on the ship, they're on a 100% pellet ration and they're very used to it.
So what's going to happen when they get to their new destination?
When they get to Mexico, Northern Hemisphere, it's summer in Mexico. It's going to be a little bit warmer than today here.
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
And we discharge the ship. That takes about 3 days for us to do. And they all come to our property. We have 120 hectares of land prepared to receive these animals. They're fed on pellets, so we share the pellet formula between the feedlot here in New Zealand, the ship, and the feedlot in Mexico. They all work, even though they're manufactured in different countries, the feed has the same specifications. So we make sure that there's no digestive disruption. We then pregnancy test individually every animal. The whole 47,000 will be pregnancy tested. In this case, because the pregnancy testing season in New Zealand is on, we couldn't get a New Zealand person to come and test them, so we're going to have a Scottish man to come to Mexico and pregnancy test his ewes. And only pregnant ewes are delivered to the producers that are going to be getting these animals.
What sort of numbers?
So these producers will get between 30 and 50 sheep each, depending on how many they've been able to purchase. In Mexico, the total price of the animal is divided in three parts. The federal government provides part of the funding, the state government, where the sheep are going to, provides part of the funding, and then the producer puts in about a third. So between 30 and 50 sheep per producer. We'll be talking about 1,000 producers benefiting from this program.
So they're going to be used for breeding, hence the fact that they are pregnant.
Indeed. We used to take ewes for joining in Mexico, but we found that with the change of hemisphere, not all the ewes were able to join straight away. So by taking pregnant ewes, they lamb, and they seem to be able to get into lamb again very quickly.
So really, they've got a normal future life breeding.
Absolutely. They'll join local flocks. Lamb production is the name of the game. Generally in Mexico, lambs are sold at 42 kilos live weight into the meat trade. So these ewes will have a normal life, change of hemisphere, change of climate perhaps, but in terms of their purpose, yes, they'll have a full breeding life ahead of them.
There'd be those who would say that it'd be pretty hard to find 50,000 sheep in New Zealand at the moment.
Well, it's a big exercise, without a doubt. It's a big exercise, but the company that supplied us with the sheep here in New Zealand have done an amazing job again, because they did that 7 years ago for us. And I think this is an exercise that's not being done anywhere else in the world. It's a complex exercise. It's taken us 2 years to get to where we are today, and it's taking us 6 months here in New Zealand since we bought the first lambs. So there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to make this a successful exercise.
The interesting thing is that everything possible is done to make sure the sheep are the best quality and very happy and animal welfare.
Indeed, and even though today is a bit wet, cold and miserable, we've been blessed with very good weather in the preparation period, so all of the sheep have taken to the feed very well. They're eating very well, and we predict a very successful voyage.
And the Ministry of Primary Industries have been very helpful.
Indeed, we had a very good meeting between, we have 6 Mexican veterinarians in Mexico at the moment checking the sheep. On behalf of the government, we had a very useful meeting yesterday with the Ministry of Primary Industries. And as I said at the beginning of the interview, I think our objectives are aligned. We all want a successful shipment. We want this to continue. We want to be able to come back next year and do this again.